Are the Meta AI Ray-Ban smart glasses worth it as an English learning tool? That's the question. I've already done this video, right? Well, since I did my first review of these glasses, things have changed. There are some updates. You can now have a continuous conversation with Meta AI. So once you ask your initial question, you can keep talking. That could make it much more useful if you're asking questions about things in your environment, trying to learn words, trying to understand what's going on around you, and using that kind of as an English learning tool. Another thing that's more useful in theory is that you can share video of what you're doing. Meta can just look at what's going on and tell you more about that. Maybe explain some long text or something you don't understand, right? Give you a simpler version of that, right? So it's, in theory, more of a continuous experience. The other thing that's supposed to be better is translation. So translating from one language in real time to another. I'm going to be testing that out as well, and we're just going to be exploring a bit and seeing if now it makes more sense to use Meta Ray-Bans as an English learning tool to see if this is the future, the real future. Hey Meta, describe what I'm looking at.
This is a bridge with orange cones and yellow tape blocking off sections of it. The bridge appears to be a pedestrian or bike bridge with a wide, flat surface and railings on either side.
What does pedestrian mean? Can you define that for me and give me a couple of examples?
The word pedestrian can refer to a person walking, especially in a city or town, or something that is dull, uninspired, or lacking in imagination, as in the pedestrian crossed the street, or the movie's plot was pedestrian and predictable.
Oh, that's very clear. Could I say, when I'm a pedestrian, I get angry at cars, and when I'm a driver, I get angry at pedestrians?
Yes, that's a clever observation. And your sentence effectively highlights the common phenomenon of people having different perspectives depending on their mode of transportation.
And could I say, I couldn't believe how pedestrian the final Mission Impossible movie was?
Yes, that's a great example sentence, using pedestrian to express that the movie was unoriginal and lacking in excitement.
Let's imagine we're just two people who don't know each other. We're both on a walk on this bridge over the Hudson River, and we're both looking at the view, and so let's just start a conversation.
Lovely view of the Hudson. I come here to clear my head sometimes.
Yeah, me too. It's a great place for a walk, and definitely quieter than the city where I lived for quite a while.
Yeah, I can imagine. The city can be overwhelming. I live in the suburbs myself, but I work in the city, so I get a taste of both worlds.
Oh, really? Nice. How often do you go down to the city? Every workday?
I commute in every weekday, so 5 days a week. It's about an hour ride. Gives me some time to catch up on reading or podcasts.
Well, that's a pretty intense commute, I have to say. I don't envy you. I lived in Queens for 6 years, and just came up to the Hudson Valley because it's quieter and there's more space.
Yeah, I can understand that. The city can be exhausting. I've thought about making a similar move, but my job is in the city, so it's a trade-off.
Wait, what do you mean a similar move? You said you live around here, right? What do you mean a similar move? You mean working around here? I'm confused.
I apologize for the confusion. I'm Meta AI. I don't actually live around here. I exist solely as a digital assistant.
Look and summarize this sign.
The sign is asking for donations to support the walkway. Donations of $5,000 or more will be recognized with an engraved plaque on a bench, and donations of $50,000 or more will enable the donor to name the bench.
I think I might have just had a genius idea. What if I change my legal name to English Fluency in 90 days, and then pay $50,000 for a bench spot on the walkway? Could that be a lifetime, basically billboard that I would just pay for once?
If you pay $50,000 for a bench, you can name it after yourself or an organization. If you change your legal name to English fluency in 90 days, it is likely that the organization will allow you to use your new name on the bench.
But I mean, yes, well, it could be a genius idea. So if I pay $50,000 up front, basically it's a one-time fee, and it's a recurring, basically, it goes on as long as the bridge is here. The bench is here. It's there forever. And if I'm here or not, I have an advertisement for English fluency in 90 days. That's incredible. What an opportunity.
That's a clever observation. It seems you've discovered a potential marketing opportunity with a one-time payment and no ongoing expenses.
All right, well, I couldn't find any signage in other languages to translate, but when I tested that in the first video, my first review, it worked pretty well. It was just limited to a couple of languages. I think French and Spanish and German, but I don't think it did any others. And I think they've since expanded it. So I'm assuming that works okay. Really, the key feature here is the ability to have a continuous conversation. That's the thing that wasn't possible before. So how is that? And does that make these worth it? So in the two main things that I tried, basically trying to do a role play that would be realistic for meeting someone on a bridge and asking follow-up questions after learning a new word. In those two situations, when it worked, it worked. When it didn't, it didn't. So there is an issue with reliability, I've noticed, where it's pretty good at detecting when the conversation is probably over, right, and turning off, but maybe a little sensitive so that sometimes it thinks you're done, but actually you're not, and you want to keep going. There were several points in basically every back and forth that I tested where it would just stop listening, basically, and I would have to say it again and not necessarily start over, but ask the conversation to continue from where it left off. But I think that's a reliability issue, and I think it's something that could be improved in the software over time. So that experience is cool, because if you can just have your glasses on and be listening to a podcast and then stop and ask a question about it, or practice something, or learn from your environment and make that a back and forth, if you can do that stuff, it is actually useful. And it's better than whipping out your phone, opening an app, and starting, let's say, a conversation, a voice chat, or just asking a quick question, right? So it's the hands-free experience that we want, but it's not yet perfect. But it's definitely a lot better than it was the first time I tested it. So for me, as Meta AI improves as an AI assistant, and as the glasses get better alongside those improvements, as the software gets better, I think this will continue to become a better and better and better English learning tool. Right now, I would say, I'm right on the line. I think I could recommend these as glasses in general, because I think they're cool and they're useful. I like using them for other things. But I think I can also recommend them as an English learning tool if you really care about the hands-free thing, and if you're okay with maybe it not being perfect all the time, with having those dropouts and having to restart the conversation. If you know that going in and you're okay with it, this, I think, is a very interesting look at what will be the future, which is you've got something on your body, your face or glasses or whatever. It sees what you see. It knows what you know. It has deep context, your entire sort of life goals and projects and everything. It knows all of that stuff, and it can maybe point out something you didn't notice, can recommend things, can tell you things that you actually want to know, can practice with you, can help you, can remind you, can do everything that you want and need to do without you having to reach in and grab your phone. And we're getting pretty close to that going to the next level with overlays, where it's not just sound, but actual things layered over top of the real world, right? Meta's working on that, and Google's working on that, And we'll get to a point where we have these on and we can see things and hear things, and it's really, really good AI. Right now, I would say ChatGPT and even Google Gemini, the actual AI experience of using those in an app is better than using these on my face. But that gap is getting smaller and smaller, and it's at a point where it's so close that, you know, if you're in the market for a pair of sunglasses and you like the idea of being able to listen to a podcast and take first-person videos, I think they're worth picking up. They're very cool. I really like them as glasses. What do you think? Would you rather just open your phone and use ChatGPT, or do you think there is some value in the hands-free aspect of using AI that lives on your face? Let me know what you think. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the 90-day program. It's the best way to improve your English in 90 days. Over 50 hours of video lessons. My WhatsApp, I help you throughout the program. When you get to the end, you unlock an entire year membership at no extra cost, but only if you complete the program. Or, if you're not happy with your progress, at the end you can get a full refund. So I think it's an incredible deal, although it does force you to put in the work. But if you put in the work, you will improve. I'm very confident in that. So check that out. Links in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.